All right, this is a good topic. Hypersexuality versus healthy sexuality, because the two get abstracted a lot. Why? Because the mind likes to justify, the ego likes to justify things that are keeping us limited or keeping us small or defects of character. The mind likes to try to turn those in to something positive. So then we keep doing it. Not only keep doing it, but we'll proclaim that this is actually an asset of our character. It's actually a good quality, when really it can be limiting you. So let's look at it and see. Let's see, is it really a good asset or is it limiting you? I've shared this before on a video, I think, where I had a girlfriend. She was a sex addict. I'm not like her. And she went to the tantric teacher, and the tantric teacher was a sex addict. And she's like, you need to embrace this sexuality, and you need to, if the guy that you're with doesn't respect that or compliment that, then you need to like go find a better one, because you're a sexual being, and I don't know, all this stuff, you know. So the thing is, you shouldn't, it's like sex, you should be able to take it or leave it. If the moment calls for it, if it's a nice, like it kind of just spontaneous, the universe sets it out, sets it up, then it can be great sex. But if that's on your mind all the time, and you want to have sex, I want to have sex, okay, we're going out to, you know, some honeymoon place or something, like, okay, we're gonna have sex, because then that's a problem. We went somewhere, we went to the hot springs, and then I was working on something. I had a Chinese retreat at the time, and so I was trying to get them some medicine, natural plant medicine. I was trying to organize this. I was in Ecuador, and I was talking to a girl in Peru, and you know, it was just a mess. Like she wouldn't call back, and then finally she called back. It was the next morning. So this girl I was with was expecting us to have sex in the morning. It was on her mind. I wasn't even thinking about it. I wasn't against it, but I wasn't like, you know, I wasn't thinking about it. So this girl that I was waiting to call me back so I could coordinate and organize this thing for the retreat, she sent a message. I'm like, oh, cool, she called back. Hey, can you translate this for me? Because she spoke Spanish, and this girl spoke Spanish, and my Spanish sucks. So, and then she took and she had this cynical attitude, but she went ahead and I noticed that. And then later it came out after like, I don't know, it could have been days later. She's like, yeah, like when you go to a romantic spot like that, like what the hell? Like, I want to have sex. I wanted to, you know. I said, oh, well, why didn't you share that with me then? Instead of, see, this is where we run into trouble. When we expect our partners to be thinking what we're thinking, they're not going to do that. Especially, we're talking about man and woman. Total different, like, thought circuitry, total different emotional system, total different karma, total different this, that. Can't expect. Now, sometimes there's some matching, and those are our favorite relationships, sure, but there's not gonna be matching on every category. You know, the ultimate matching is when you are at similar levels of consciousness. This is when relationships are the best, and this is also when they end. I was with a girl when I was in my 20s. We were pretty much like this, and then later the consciousness gap started increasing, and then we weren't together anymore. Sex gets boring after a while. You can't just use that all the time. See, she wanted to use that when we were having like some trouble. She don't want to look at that. I like to look at it. Let's talk. There's something in the energy field that needs to be looked at. That's clear. Can't you feel it? I'd tell her, don't you feel there's something like we're not totally present with each other? And I think it's because of this situation that happened, and maybe you read me wrong or I read you wrong. Can we discuss that? See, but a lot of people, including her, they wanted to sweep it under the carpet. Let's forget about that. Let's just have sex. Just want to enjoy a dopamine hit. Let's just do that. I didn't want to do that. I'm almost like a girl on some level, in the sense that I'm not interested in just having sex. I'd go, back in the day, I'd rather go masturbate or something. If I'm going to have sex with a girl, we need to be connected emotionally, mentally. There can't be any baggage there that we're not looking at, and then we're going to try to sexualize that stuff away, because it doesn't go away. It goes back under, and then it festers, and then it grows, and then you have sex again, try to get rid of it, and it just keeps increasing, and then some crazy thing can happen, some drama, because you're not current. You got to be current. You got to look at this stuff, stay current. So then, yeah, I got tired of that, and and then we ended, and etc. Now, there was still some detox from that, but that's cool. Like, you give yourself space to feel your feelings too. That's another subject. So, hypersexuality versus healthy sexuality. Are you using, like, what's your motives for having sex? See, but it's hard to have self-honesty. I know. Because I talk with people, I work with people, and this is what I do, and then we get into this stuff, and they can't be honest with themselves. But if sex is a constant, even constant, that's a dangerous word, because somebody would be like, no, I'm not thinking about it 24 hours a day. The mind always looks for a way to kind of escape this introspection. But just examine your sex life. Use your intuition and just see, like, what's going on here. How important is this having sex for me? Like, how important is it? And then society will say, it just twists everything around. It's like, where do you go to hear the truth? Yeah, good luck. Society's going to tell you, yeah, that's healthy sexual expression. If your partner can't reciprocate that, get rid of them. You want to express yourself, You got to feel intuitively. You just have to feel, use your inner compass, and just check and just ask yourself, like, am I a little too overzealous, or a lot too much overzealous for sex? Is it more important than it actually should be? You got to ask yourself that question and really sit with that and see. Is it causing problems in my life, in my affairs? Is it making my life unmanageable somehow? This inordinate need for sex. Is it making problems in the relationship? Now, in the beginning, see, that's different. It's new and everything. Oh, it's fun. Oh, this is a different body. And oh, she does that good, or he does it. Okay, no, fast forward. Get past all that. What's after that? How is it? And then do you feel... See, I didn't want to... I got back to the girl. I didn't... Toward the end of the relationship, we weren't connected at all. Not for me. Also, she'd get high. That's another thing. If you're getting high all the time, you're not really present and with yourself. So it's like, how can you be present with someone else? I'm not like against weed or for weed. I'm just saying it can be a factor. I don't smoke it because it messes my nervous system up. I don't like it. But if you like doing it, it's cool. Like, whatever. I'm not dogmatic, in case you don't know yet. So she would, we weren't very connected at the end. And so I had no desire to have sex with her. I had no desire. But she was getting high, and so she wasn't really feeling the disconnect, and she just wants to have sex because she has weed addiction and sex addiction. And I didn't want to do that. So then she left, and she found somebody that would do that. And then she kind of half told me about it. But I knew what she was saying. I was actually glad. I was like, good, this is, thank you, universe. You made it real clear now. Okay, done. She's like, no, but it's just, it wasn't about, I didn't love him. My body was pulsing for sex and needed sex. And you weren't giving it to me. And then she tried to blame me once about, I had to go home and masturbate. And I was like, what the hell? Is that, she's thinking like, what, you're not, look what you're making me do. And I'm sure guys can run that same game on a girl. Maybe guys do that more, actually. So, and I'm like, I'm not here to feed your sex addiction, though. Like for me, that was clearly sex addiction. I'm not like helping you or serving you by giving you that. Not to mention I have no interest because it's coming from sex addiction. If it's one sex addict having sex with another sex addict, okay, then it will work for a while. So what's healthy sexual expression? When you thoroughly enjoy sex, but you don't need it. That's healthy. Because when there's not this constant lingering thought in your mind thinking about sex, then there's space, so then the universe can actually orchestrate a time and setting to where it says, okay, let's have sex. You see, it's different. It's different when the universe says, okay, it's time to have sex, versus your obsessive, addicted mind that's saying it wants to have sex. Because then that's just, you're doing it for pleasure or superficial pleasure, or to escape something you're feeling. And you're using it as a dopamine fix. You're using it as a drug. You got to check and see, like, am I using sex for a drug, or is it just a natural unfolding expression of myself with my partner? That's the criteria. That's how you discern. And then when you have sex, it will be much more satisfying. And when it's much more satisfying, you may not need to, you don't have to do it so much or at all. If you're super satisfied, like if you had sex and you were satisfied on the deepest level, you wouldn't need to do it again, actually. You could still do it again and enjoy, but it's like you've been satisfied, like on a core level. I gotta make some, you see, and it's not about orgasm. Oh, I had the ultimate orgasm. And there may not even be an orgasm involved. See, that's not, everyone's tuned and conditioned to think it's all about the orgasm and have the girl, make the girl have 100 orgasms, The level of thinking and regarding anything nowadays is just, it's it's not at the highest level. So this is my message. Sex addiction's a huge addiction. It's huge. Like, it's probably bigger than most drug addictions, but it's more taboo. People don't look at that. It's much more acceptable to be an alcoholic rather than a sex addict. So there's not a lot of awareness in this area. So that's why you have to do your own introspection and see, and there's different degrees and levels of sex addiction. There was a girl in LA who she liked to go, this is extreme, she wore very provocative clothes, would walk in bad neighborhoods, and would hope that she got raped, but in a way that didn't hurt her too bad, basically, because of the dopamine hit. She had so much sex and threesomes and done all that stuff to where it didn't even do anything anymore. She had to take it to the next level. That was the next level. So there's that, and then there's just, you can say, your appetite for sex is a little bit too overindulgent, and it creates problems in your relationship or in your life because of this compulsion to have sex too much. Then there's everything in between. So you have to see where you are, and then you take steps to remedy that. It's a very nice sense of freedom to not be so obsessed with having sex. If you can take it or leave it, this is really, well, this is our destiny at some point. Everybody is going to come into that balance at some point, because then so much energy is freed up now to go do more important things, you can say. You build your character, self-realization, your spiritual practice. You have clarity now and energy because you're not being constantly bothered by this tendency, energetic feeling in the sexual department somehow, whether it be via having sex, trying to get hits of flirting, validation from guys on the street when you go out there, or watching porn or masturbating, etc. When that stuff kind of like goes away, you got a lot of energy left now to focus on, to enjoy life, basically. You're viewing life with a more empty mind because it's not being blocked with all these rogue energies that are running around and pulling you this way and that way, and so you can just experience life more fully, more complete. So that's why I'm even talking about this, is because yeah, it's not about right or wrong, it's about finding your healthiest expression. So the channel's for those girls that want to do that. And if you don't want to do that, I understand, because I spent years not wanting to do that either. Like, you gotta, it's like before we can be our highest version of ourselves, we gotta be kind of a lower version for a while. That's part of the deal. Otherwise, you can't enjoy the higher version without having some contrast. So I did that fully. Many times, many things, I knew, like, okay, this obviously isn't in my highest good, but like, who cares? Like, it's there. The desire's there. I want to experience that. That's cool. I mean, you can't do nothing about that anyway. So I guess, but what I'm saying is, I don't judge that. I'm not like, oh, stupid girl, she should wake up. No, I understand the whole process because I went through it. So how can I, be hypocritical and be like, no, just stop doing it? But those who are ready to stop doing it, this message you might enjoy more, or those who are kind of like almost there a little bit, and then the habits pull you back down, and let me come back up. Those beings also, you may find some inspiration and power in this message if you're ready. So this is why I make the videos. I have another channel, Spiritual Renaissance, if you want to see that, if you don't know about it, and also a mental health channel, True Mental Health, and also a semen retention channel for guys, Beyond the Alchemy. I'm trying not to tell them about it, because they might come over here and watch it, and then it might mess the algorithm up. But I will be done. All right, see you.